for regular men, you're more likely to win at carnival games than to succeed on Tinder. All right, so what's up, guys? I want to talk about Tinder and how it works and why I think it's just not a healthy app for average regular men. Okay, so we're gonna start with. I want to start with this. This is Culture Plot, and they have a small subset. I think it's 12 users. It's not a great number of users, but they did 300,000 swipes, I believe. I think it's somewhere here. So here you can see Kate. There it is, 300,000 swipes in one chart. So here, this is the girl Katie, and I'll let you see a bigger picture. This is Katie. This is her profile that they put up there, and I want you to see what kind of reaction she got in terms of numbers. Okay, so her profile, when she put her profile up there, she swiped right 9% of the time, and of those times that she swiped right, she matched more than half the times, right? Okay, and then of course there's 46% message, but we're not really going to focus on the messaging. We're just going to talk about how many times swiped and how many times matched. Okay, and so she was matching more than 50% of the time that she swiped right. Okay, so this is from 12 users, but I want to get to this part because this is the most important part. This is a comparison of how males swipe on the app to how females swipe on the app. So as you can see, males swipe quite a bit more, right? So you see how thick the band is for swiping right for men, and you see how thin the band is for the matches for men. And then you see the opposite with women, where women are swiping left mostly, and they're swiping right a very small amount of the time, and about half the time that they swipe right, they're matching. Okay, and so if you imagine this in the larger scale, basically women are just getting a large amount of matches for every time they swipe right, and men are getting a very small amount. Okay, and so here it says the match rate for men or women match rate was 54% on average, compared to 5% for men. Okay, and so I want to show you some examples, and of course this is not 100% thorough because there's a lot of Tinder data, and of course there are studies all over the place. But I think in terms of generally speaking, the trend is that men are swiping much more and getting fewer matches, and women are swiping right very few times, but when they do swipe right, they're getting matches. Okay, so I want to look at a couple real life examples, and so I chose these two side by side because I think there's somewhat a looks match, I guess. I'm not really big into evaluating numbers or everything, but I want you to see the big difference in the contrast and their level of success on the app. Okay, so here's the first lady here.
Let's keep in mind it's over 6 years.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that had music. So let's take this music off and let's keep watching. Okay. All right. So there we go. So this lady she swiped 48,977 times, and she only swipes right 900 times. And of those 900 times, she matched 400 times. So by the stats, she swiped right 1.8% of the time. And of that 1.8% of the time, of those matches, she matched 43.5% of the time. Okay? Now let's take a look at the gentleman here. Okay, so he's speaking German. I think it's German. Okay.
Und davon 2.500 mal rechts. Und jetzt wird's gruselig, weil aus 2.560 mal rechts und dann.
Okay, so there you go, right there. So in this case, he swiped 9,928 times, and of those times he swiped right 2,559 times, and of those 2,559 times, he got 18 matches. So stats wise, he swiped right 26% of the time, so 1 out of 4 times, and he only matched 7% of the time on those matches. Okay, And so you can see the enormous difference. They're almost flip-flop, really, in that you see the females are swiping right about one, well, in this case, 2% of the time, and of those, when they swipe right, of those matches, close to half of those matches are saying, okay, I'll match with you. And on the other side, you're seeing men swipe right much more times and get a lot fewer matches, right? So let's look at another one. I want to look at another one and compare them side by side, because I think, again, we're seeing a similar looks match, okay? And so this guy is actually kind of interesting. He's going to curse a little bit, so please forgive me for that part of it. But I want you to, he's kind of comical with his, so I want you to kind of experience his kind of frustration with his Tinder data results, okay?
Today I downloaded my data from Tinder, purely for your entertainment and my embarrassment. This is fucking embarrassing. This is more embarrassing. This is considerably worse. I hate this.
Okay, so you can see he swiped 28,401 times, and of those, he swiped right 18,802 times, and he got 1,669 matches. Okay, and you know, the chats and all that stuff. He didn't get any relationships, but okay. So if you look at the stats here for him, he swiped right, 66% of the time. And he actually matched about 9% of the time, which is actually quite good. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if that's a big surprise, because I mean, he's a relatively decent looking guy. So I would imagine his profile picture would get a lot of attention, right? So we're going to look at the lady here, and I think this lady's profile here is probably the best example of how Tinder works, okay? Okay, so there's some music in this one, so I had to stop it. No sound, okay? Right swipe there, okay? So she's saying the percentage there. Okay, so we're going to watch one more time so you can see she's on it in 4 years. She swiped that many times, and there. Okay, there we go. So she's of 86,009 profiles that she saw, she swiped right 949% of the time. And you can see that she didn't match 220 times. So of course, that means the remainder is, I think it's, do the math in my head, 729 times that she matched of those 949 times that she swiped right. So in this case, she's getting stats upwards of 76% match rate, and she's swiping right 1% of the time. So it doesn't take much to look at these numbers and kind of understand how these apps are working, right? Like, these apps kind of suggest that for good looking guys, like I would say the guy on the left, he's getting moderate, you know, return, right? He matching 9% of the time that he's swiping right. And that I think that's somewhere around the top end for many guys. Unless, you know, you're the elite of the elite, but still, you might be getting matched 10 to 15% of the time anyways. But we're saying for like, if you're a decent looking woman, or even a very pretty woman, you could be extremely selective. You could be extremely selective and still get matches. Even in this case, she's 1.8% selective, and she's still matching almost half the time, right? And so that's the way that Tinder works. And so I would suggest that if you're going to use Tinder, you should go somewhere where you are an outlier. You're taller than everyone else. You look different. You have a different something about you, so that your profile picture is going to stick out. And if that's not height, or if it's not something, maybe it's your skin tone or your nationality or something like that, I think in that case, Tinder might work for you as a guy. Or even as an average regular guy. But if you're an average regular guy, especially in the West, and there's nothing about you that's special that makes you stick out, I think you're kind of wasting your time on Twitter. So with that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Please like, subscribe, comment on the video so I can get some feedback, and I will talk to you on the next one.